I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jesse. And
this is the Reimagine Success Podcast.
We're a husband and wife team who want to make a difference.
Keeping up with the Joneses can be exhausting, and we can often lose sight of what we are accomplishing.
We're here to reimagine success and to celebrate the steps it takes us to get there.
Big or small, we want to showcase success stories that will inspire, motivate, and help propel you towards greatness in your own life.
So come reimagine success with us, and let's go on this journey together.
Welcome back to another Thursday edition of Reimagine Success.
I hope everybody's doing great today. We are super excited. We've got an amazing guest for today. It's a good friend of ours named Kiel Shaw, and I've been really excited about this ever since we started talking to him about being on the podcast.
Yes, I am so excited to pick his brain and just realize what he has done in his life.
Yeah, so Kiel Shaw is a financial advisor who owns his own practice with Edward Jones, the same firm he'd been a client of for 25 years. At the age of 12, he became fascinated with investments and long-term effects of proper retirement strategies. He was raised by a single mother on a teacher's salary, and one of the many lessons his mother taught him was money management and retirement planning. Her father, a retired Marine who served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, taught him the valuable lessons of treating every person with respect and honesty. He also taught him that discipline, hard work, ethics, and morals are attributes of a successful individual. After honorably serving our country for more than 16 years as a Marine, he was fortunate enough to get offered early retirement due to his status as a single father raising two beautiful children. Now, like we said, he owns his own Edward Jones practice, and he is here to talk to us about his story and everything that has brought him to where he is today. So welcome to the show, Kiel Shaw.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It was definitely an honor to be asked to speak just about story. With every success, there's also a bunch of failures. So just kind of talking about the highs and the lows.
Absolutely. Well, in that regard, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners about your story?
Yeah, I mean, so I really think back on I always kind of have to lead with this story because I don't quite remember it, but the family definitely does, and I think it's one of the funniest things because it talks a lot about even like kind of me today, and what I mean by that is like just my wit. But all the way back to I think it was like my 10th birthday, my grandfather, who's a huge influencer of mine, gave me this like $1,000 bond, and it was like a 30-year bond. And I was just kind of like looked at it, and he was explaining, he was like, yeah, so it's $1,000 a day, but you hold on to it for 30 years, it's worth like $5,000, etc. And I was just like, so I can't spend it today. I was like, okay. I was like, so what you're saying is I can't take this to Toys R Us. I remember somewhere in there, like Toys R Us came up, and he was like, no, you can't take it to Toys R Us. So
for those that don't know, Toys R Us is a store that used to exist back when we were children, and you could go and buy toys there in person.
They had a really cool jingle.
Yeah. That's so true. Because I guess, that's not even around.
Yeah,
anymore.
Toys R Us isn't a thing anymore, which blows my mind.
It blows my mind too. You would have thought they would have really jumped. It's kind of like Blockbusters. If they would have just jumped on some online stuff and digital, they wouldn't have went away. But unfortunately, and actually, you know what? That's a good point to success is not so narrow-minded to think that the way it worked 10, 20 years ago is the same way it's going to work today.
Absolutely.
Right. You have to grow. You have to expand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so that's even a great point. Just thinking about it from that aspect is even when you get in a groove, sometimes, what word am I looking for here? Consistency definitely helps, but
adaptability.
Oh, it starts with a C. You can get contempt.
Content.
Yeah, content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Content, where you're at, and complacency, can kill you.
Absolutely.
Sharpening that blade when it comes to stuff. But no, so he gave me this bond, and again, the story kind of goes is I kind of said, hey, thanks for the money, Papa, but I can't spend it towards us. And he just kind of laughed and was like, all right, ha ha ha, let me teach you some stuff. So he kind of pulled me off to the side, And for everyone listening, if you don't know what the rule of 72 is, it's 72 divided by your rate of return is how many years it takes to double your money.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's a simple math problem. It's just 72 divided by what your rate of return is. So he's like, okay, here's 72 divided by 12, and I think it was like 8 years. So again, I start writing this stuff out. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So I was like, what if it's 14%? What if it's 10%? So we started kind of doing some math, and it just got me so intrigued that between my 10th and my 12th birthday, I saved up $500. From there, on my 12th birthday, he took me down to the Edward Jones office. We put $500 in a brokerage account. I think we did $100 in Coke, $100 in Pepsi, $100 in Hershey, $100 in Home Depot, $100 in Bell South, which is now the Southern Company. And then just started doing like $100 a month, dollar cost averaging in about 15. I started adding mutual funds and ETFs, and really just kind of started doing like portfolio management. Since he was a retired Marine, and I just had a strong calling on that, I ended up joining the Marine Corps, thinking I was going to do 4 years, stayed in until retirement in 2018. But while I was in, I went to college, got my degree in finance, and just continued to do the finance, from a personal aspect, and then got my licenses in 2018 when I retired. But I mean, I've done house flipping. I've done, private investments. I've done a ton of just anything that I guess that they always say passive income, but if you think about it, you got to put work in to get that passive income.
Absolutely.
So there is still, everyone's looking for, I guess, the easy, but to me, I haven't found the easy pill. I found the work hard pill that eventually pays off. So I don't know. I mean, I had a ton of, things that could have, went wrong in my life. As you said earlier, with the single mom was a single mom as a school teacher. Gosh, I can remember times that she would work 2-3 different jobs just growing up, just to make sure like Christmas is around the corner, just to make sure I had what I needed for like Christmas, holidays, Thanksgiving. My dad's side of the family was extremely wealthy. My mom's side of the family is kind of more like your middle class people, which is kind of why I wasn't allowed to ever meet my dad's side of the family, because we didn't fit that category of class. And that's a whole long story on that side. I didn't even meet my grandparents on his side till I was 18, because they would. I was of legal age, so my mom wouldn't come after them for money, which she never would have done. But that's just how their mentality was. And then you've got like my mom's side of the family, who was just this amazing, I mean, we had large gatherings after church. We had large family reunions. My mom's side of the family is just this family that just like checks in on each other. And we're spread all over the nation. Because my grandfather was one of 7, all boys, and all the boys served in the military. So they ended up in all different states and cities and, just across the nation. My grandmother was one of 8 all females. And same thing, when the girls got, 18, 20 years old, they'd leave the house and they'd venture off to the bigger cities. So it's just this huge family of being so spread out across the nation, but yet so close together. So that to me was always unique, which I think also goes into, just even talking about this time of year with Thanksgiving and Christmas. You guys know I put out on like Facebook, like if you're alone, if you need help, if you need food, like contact me. Like you have a seat at my table. We will figure this out.
We were actually a little disappointed because we ended up going to San Diego for Thanksgiving this year, and we wanted to come to your Thanksgiving, but we were in California.
Oh man, well, you guys would have definitely had 2 seats at the table. But yeah, I mean, so like with my mom's family, I mean, they were just great, and I shouldn't say they are just great, wholehearted people. And it's crazy to me too. And this to me, I think ties into success and stuff is mentality. And what I mean by that is I had a choice, when I was a teenager, when I was a young adult, I met my dad's side of the family, who's really wealthy. I mean, they are very wealthy individuals, but they had this mentality of like, you serve them, and if you didn't add value to them, then you weren't allowed in that circle, and then you've got my mom's side of the family who could care less about finances. I mean, yeah, they want to, they want to live a comfortable life, but they didn't care about status, and oddly enough, I don't know some of them, their net worth, but there's probably some family members on my mom's side that could give the other side, a run for their money. But you would never known that because they give you their shirt off their back. If you were broke down on the side of the road, they would come help you. If you called and just said, hey, I just need to talk, like they give you the time of day. I mean, they did all those little things that make us human. Yeah. But the thing that I also noticed when I look at the two different families is my mom's side will outwork you any day of the week. I mean, they had zero problem putting the hours in, putting the effort in. And so to me, that's why I drive a lot of it back to mentality. And the Marines, of course, played a big part in that as well. They definitely create leaders, discipline, self-confidence, courage. But I think with every success, you've got to mentally say, I'm gonna get there, and I'm not gonna let anybody stand in my way. I'm not gonna let you, every challenge is gonna come up. There's gonna be days that you're like, I swear I want this day to end, because not only did I get one challenge, I got 15 challenges.
Right.
Like, can I just fast forward through today and start tomorrow? And then there's gonna be weeks that are that way. There's gonna be months that are that way. Every time you think, hey, all right, this is it, this next bill's not going to hit. All of a sudden you open a letter and there's another $1,000 you got to pay some, it's like, and you're like, I swear they keep telling me work hard, and then all of a sudden you just break through and things start coming together, and the challenges will still be there. They'll just be shaped differently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a big believer on the mentality side of things.
Yes, me too. And so, Kyle, I know you went into the Marine Corps. At what age did you go into the Marines?
So I shipped 2 weeks after high school graduation.
Okay, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I told my recruiter, I said, I want to take a senior trip. And then after that, I'm ready to go. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I went to, where did we go? Aruba. I went to Aruba about 2 days
my favorite place.
Yeah, I love the Aruba. But here's the funny thing is I think we went for 7 nights. It was me and a couple guy friends, and our 5th day we went on this boat charter, and I didn't realize that, actually none of us realized that we had partied so much that we ran out of money. Enough money to pay the boat charter because we thought we were cool, so we got this like private charter that cost like $800, which wow. You're a teenager. And anyways, so by the time we paid it, we got like barely enough money to get a cab back to the hotel or back to the airport in a couple days. So we ended up, how usually most people, when you fish, you just let them keep the fish. Mm-hmm. That was our food for the last 2 days of the trip.
Oh, wow.
Took all the fish, and then I've kind of always been really good at communicating. So I talked the chef into the resort that we were at to cook the fish for us.
Oh, nice.
So I was broke as all get out shipping to boot camp, because I had already spent all my, the graduation money and all that stuff in Aruba.
Nice.
Well, if you're going to spend it somewhere, that's the place to do it for sure.
Yeah. So, but 18-year-old Kyle thought that was a great decision. So
you literally grew up in the Marines.
Yeah. And not only grew up in the Marines, but your family was part of the Marines. Your grandfather, right?
They were, but oddly enough, so he retired in 1970. I was born in 84, so it's about a 14-year gap between his retirement and me. He did not talk about it. There was one picture in his house in uniform. It was him and my grandmother, and he just didn't really talk about it. I mean, he talked about the military a little bit, but knowing what I know now, he was in the island hopping campaigns in World War II. He was in Frozen Chosen during Korea, and he was in 3 tours in Vietnam.
Wow, man.
So he was always very proud of his service, but he never talked about his service, if that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some ways, maybe it was the mystique of not knowing some of the details, but just kind of respecting the man that he was. Because he was, I mean, literally when you draw out like a piece of paper, like what are strengths and weaknesses in people, like he was strict, but he was fair. He was stern, but he was easy to talk to. It was like,
It was very balanced.
Yes, he was
Yeah.
very, very balanced. He had a little bit of humor, that he would mix in there. My grandmother, so his wife, was your free spirit, loved the world. Yeah.
Melissa's pointing at herself.
That's me.
Yep. So, where he was a little bit more on the balance side. And I loved them both. I loved them both equally for who they were. Unfortunately, my grandmother on that side passed away in 95. So I was in 5th grade at the time. So I don't have as long of memories with her as I do my grandfather. He actually passed away the night of my birthday in 2009, but we had a phone conversation the day of my birthday, which we did weekly. We, even after I joined the service, I would still, contact him once a week. We'd have, a good long conversation. And he just happened to pass away that night. So I at least got to talk to him the last day.
That's good.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
Because it's when you have those important people in your life who kind of inspire you and teach you how to be a good man. My grandfather was the same way with me. He was kind of a Renaissance man, did a lot of things very well, and taught me so much about how to just be a quality person. And one thing we talk about on this podcast a lot is being good humans and being decent people and
being yourself.
Yeah. And it's so important to find those people in your life that will inspire you in that way and glean as much as possible from them. And it's good that you can, look back on that memory and say, at least I got this one last moment with my grandfather right before he passed on.
Yeah. No, spot on. I mean, 100% spot on. But his death was also like, if you're gonna go out, I mean, he was 89. He lived 100% independent. Never went into a nursing home. Never went to a home. I think when he was like maybe 85, he hit a guardrail, and it was because it was like dusk going into dark. And he literally was like, all right, I'm not driving at night anymore. So he was like, I'm pulling in the driveway at 4:00 and everything else can wait. I mean, so, yeah, so like we never had to have those like hard conversations about like independence and like taking the keys or anything like that. Like, I mean, he just was just very disciplined, and like knowing himself, knowing his limitations. And he just went to sleep and just didn't wake up,
Wow.
Yeah. So,
sounds like life goals to me.
Right.
Right. So that's where I was like, it was sad to lose him. But on the flip side, I talked about like my dad. So probably around 18, him and I did get close. I think when I was 25, he had a stroke. If I remember, I was like 25, left him fully paralyzed, couldn't speak. And for the next 6 years, he was in a nursing home. Just a body in a bed. And, so like I look at the opposites and I go, no, I'd rather just like live a full life. And when it's my time, just let me go,
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, a lot of that might have to do with the mentality that you talked about earlier. Your grandfather being someone who lived helping people and with a servant's mindset versus someone who you kind of had to earn their love and respect by being a certain stature. Like that plays a lot on your survivability. Like mindset, like you've said so many times already, is so important to everything you do, not just your business practices, but your life. Having that right mindset while you're living your life can radically impact the way your life plays out.
Right. And being balanced, everything is a yin and yang. Everything is dark and light. Everything, it's all about being balanced. And, everything that you were saying in the checklist, you have to be balanced. If, you are very organized, then you also have to, have that limitations of being a little disorganized. It's very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And even organized people, even to that point in the yin and the yang, like I know I'm extremely organized. I mean, that is a strength of mine, but I feel like I'm organized in a priority way, meaning you can and there's probably been parts of my life where I tried, what did one of my old leaders say? Control what you can control and don't worry about the rest. Have been probably periods in my life where I was trying to control something that I could not control. So I'm sitting here and putting this energy in and putting this effort in and putting this, mind space in to some things that I just can't control. So there comes a point where you just have to let that part go. And again, another one of my great leaders said that, you ever seen the saucer show where people got the plate spinning on the stage?
Mm-hmm.
Spinning. You got to learn which ones are ceramic and which ones are plastic, because you got to keep the ceramic ones spinning, but you got to let some plastic ones fall every now and then. And then when you got the extra time, you pick them back up and get them spinning again. But, and again, I think that's that balance to success is what is my priority? And so here's something I do every morning. Here's a little tip for everybody. Is when I get to work, is first thing I do. And sometimes I don't do it when I get to work. Sometimes I put it in my phone. Sometimes I tell Siri to remind me, but usually I'm still a little old school. I like writing things down and then I like crossing them out. So most of the time I physically write it down, but I sit down and I say, what are the 5 things that I want to accomplish today? And I write that down before I make a phone call, before I check an email, before anything. And I write these 5 things down. And I do not quit my day until those 5 things are done. And I don't care if the storm comes up, if 1,000 phone calls come in, whatever the case may be. That's the 5, maybe I should say 3 to 5, 3 to 5 things that this is a priority of mine. Now, maybe I want to get it done at 10 o'clock in the morning and it's actually 1 o'clock in the afternoon because phone calls just start coming in, life happens, whatever the case may be. But those are the things that I want to accomplish for the day. And they're just, and here's the thing, you can write a to-do list a mile long and then you're like, oh crap. Okay. Well, you scratched a couple off today and you feel accomplished, but I don't know, it's something about writing tangible goals that are achievable goals every day. And those small little goals can just add up to bigger goals, and, maybe for me in my business, maybe I'm referable at this point in time, meaning I don't prospect for clients all my clients come through referrals. Maybe it's serve 10 clients a day, call 10 clients that I haven't called in the last 60 or 90 days and just serve them. I don't ask for referrals, but if I serve my clients, then I become referable, when it comes to that type of practice. So I don't know.
That goes back to your mindset. You're taking on the role of a servant versus someone to be served. And that's, to me, probably the secret to your success is that every time I've had any interaction with you, I've seen you serve. We got to go to your Halloween party recently, which was the best party I've ever been to in my life. Let me just say, so fun. But the whole time, I saw you running around serving all the people that were in your home and just being that servant. And it was during a party where you should have been having fun and having a good time, but you took the time to decorate your house unbelievable, and then serve the people there. It was awesome to see that. And that I can see how that would translate into your business, why people would want to work with you, because you have that servant's heart and you know how to treat people and to bring them something that isn't that tangible thing that, like, yeah, you offer services through your business, blah, 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 but you give that little extra intangible thing that people can really say, oh, now that's someone I want to work with.
Oh, well, thank you, Jesse. I just think of life as a partnership, and I guess what I mean by that is like with my clients. I guess an inside joke that I make with them is if I start speaking German, because finance can sound like a foreign language sometimes, then literally just say German, and I'll be like, okay, you're not getting what I'm saying, so like let me shape this a different way so that you do get it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I don't expect them to be the expert because that's what I'm there for. So
Yeah.
I educate them, on what the options are. And then we as a partner create what's the best solution for each family, for each individual person. But it's definitely not a dictatorship, if that makes sense. But I think that service to others, again, I what am I trying to say here? I feel like if somebody just does enough good things, the universe makes sure that they're taken care of as well. Like like I can think of 1,000 stories where actually here's a great example. I had a young man the other day that one of my business owners was like, hey, Kyle, he's 18 years old. He's making 60,000 a year. He's one of my best salesmen, out there. The kid's killing it. He's doing a great job. Shouldn't even say kid, young adult. Making good money for his age, and the business owner's like, I don't want to see him mess it up. Like, I wish somebody would have stopped me at 18 and said, dude, just put away $250 a month, $500 a month, whatever you can afford at that time, just start doing a little bit of investing. He was, and here's my business owner. He's like, I was just knucklehead. I waited till I was like 40, and now, now I'm playing catch up. He's like, if you could just take the time. So I had this like, multiple appointments with this guy. I've given him a ton of information, helped him out, set him up. Some of the things I talk about is like the 3 pillars of cash, where you should have your emergency fund, then you should have your max out your retirement accounts, and then after you've maxed your retirement accounts, the non-retirement account investments. So I just think of them as like buckets. Once you filled up one bucket, you go to the next bucket, then you go to the next bucket. So again, I've given this young man a bunch of time, and I love it. He's very, very knowledgeable, but he's thirsty for that knowledge. Like, I shouldn't say knowledgeable. He's very thirsty for the knowledge, and he's very smart. So he's grasping it, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm getting it. This was a small account. Like this was a small account, and it was a favor, to the business owner. But sure enough, if like a month or two after I took this guy's account on, probably about a month after I took the guy's account on, his mom calls me up and says, hey, I just inherited $1.4 million. Can you help me with that?
Oh, wow.
She's like, I've seen what you've done for my son. I've seen, my son's always constantly bragging. So, and I just sit here and I just think like, I didn't take on the son because I knew the mom was going to get, a large, inheritance. And she actually already had some money too, but I think it was Vanguard. So again, like my intentions were never to get like the mom's money, but it's just weird how little things like that like happen when you do good. Like when you push a bunch of good out there, I feel like the universe throws you good back to
Right. So
it just happens.
it's like your vibrations and what you put out there, just like you said, and that is what returns to us. And so with that, what successes, stories do you have recently that you would like to celebrate?
Wow. I always freeze on that one because I guess I just keep living my life. I'm in the middle of an office build out. It will be done.
Well, that's successful.
Yeah, that's successful.
You just opened up your own branch.
So it will be opened, I should say. December 28th, I think, is like our move-in day.
That's super exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, that's real exciting. I again this year what are we in? We're in November. I was looking at my stuff the other day. All the goals I set for the end of the year, I think I'm at like 125% of everything, and it's November. You know what I mean? So like, there's a ton of things to be successful for, or to be happy about the success. But I don't know. I guess this is probably one of my weaknesses. I am horrible about celebrating my own successes.
Okay. So you need to get better at that. That's what life is about.
Yeah. Like, listen, Jesse, if you guys call me up and you're like, woo, we did this. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's celebrate it, But then like I'll hit some milestone I set for myself and I'm like, great, on to the next one, And it's like, I don't know.
You have to stop. You have to stop and celebrate those successes.
That's the whole purpose of our podcast.
Every week we're going to call you from now on and say, Kyle, what would you like to celebrate this week? And we're going to go out and we're going to celebrate it. Deal?
Yes, deal. So, well, here's something actually that I'm happy about is, so a few years back, I used to really put a lot of effort into like charity events and volunteer work and things like that. And I just kind of got away from it probably for the last like 4, maybe 5 years. So like it's been several years since I've done that. But I woke up the other day, felt inspired. So I'm looking into it. If you guys know anything, I'm really committing between now and New Year's. So I want to put some more volunteer work in and stuff like that. I just have a strong calling for that right now. Cause and I don't know, maybe it's post COVID, world's getting back on track. Maybe it's the holiday season. That I would be more excited about, saying, hey, I just packed 1,000 lunches and, I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's do something.
So like listeners, if you know of anything around the Atlanta area that Kyle could get involved in, that's near and dear to your heart, write us, make sure that you make that known. And because you might know something that we don't and could have the perfect thing for him to get involved in.
I'd tell you what, I'll even throw a challenge out there. Everything that comes in, that I pick, I'll give a shout out to the person that connected it to the dot on my own Facebook page. So I'll give you guys a shout out, and then I'll also, whoever the inspiration came from, I'll shout them out as well.
Sweet.
I would love if somehow it could be tied into veterans, because of course you guys know I am a retired Marine,
right?
So I would love to maybe give back to some sort of veteran organization, but I'm also not limiting myself to that too. I don't know. I feel like I want to make this a challenge somehow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Where the mentality comes from is how many people. Oh, let me ask it this way. Could you all get a poll together and all volunteer for events between now and New Year's? And you could make a list and people could vote on the thing, and the top 4 are what I do between now and New Year's.
All right.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Could that be some sort of fun way of doing this?
Yeah, for
the
sure.
Reimagine Success Challenge for
All
Kyle
right.
Shaw's volunteer efforts.
Yeah, I like it. So, I don't know. Like I said, just things to bring people together. Like that's my biggest thing is, but to your point, Melissa, as you just said, is you do have to stop, slow down, recognize your successes. And so, and I don't know, maybe I do that because you guys know I love to travel. So maybe that's when I just stop and I'm like, all right, I love everybody. Don't call me for a few days. I'm out of town.
Peace out.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And Kyle, if you want to go ahead and give a shout out to where people can find you on social media, or if they have any financial advice that they want to reach out to you, become a client, or need any inspiration in the money aspect, let them know where they would like to find you at.
Yeah, perfect. So my name's a little non-traditional. It is spelled Kiel, and then Shaw, SHAW, like the carpet, which is technically my dad's side of the family. If we want to correlate some things I said earlier in the conversation. But But
I wish it was Shaw, like the wine company that Trader Joe's used to carry, and
Yeah.
now they're no
Charles,
longer carrying.
Charles Shaw.
a bottle over here. I didn't
No,
even know that.
they're done.
Yeah, they I guess their crop got wiped out, and we
Right,
are
for the
devastated.
fires, we're
So no more
devastated.
$2 Chuck.
No more.
Somebody brought that to me at the Halloween party. I didn't even know.
It's
And I
organic.
was like,
So good.
It's
I was like,
delicious.
why am my name on it? I love it.
But it's no
Uh,
more.
But you know what? Funny enough, that actually goes to show like the true character of my mom. My dad's last name is Shaw, and she just felt like that was generational for a male. Even though he wanted nothing to do with me, she's still on the birth certificate put Shaw. Later on in life, I thought about changing it to Duncan because that's my mom's side of the family, Duncan. But everyone already knew me as Kyle Shaw, so I just kept it. But I still think it's a strong name, and I am now close with some other Shaws that I feel much more connected to than some of the ones that were directly family. But no, back to the social media. Kyle, Kiel, and then Shaw, SHAW. I use my personal page way more than I do my business page. You'll find Edward Jones, Kyle Shaw out there. I don't know. I connect naturally, I guess, with more of my clients. I love for my clients to see I'm very active on Facebook and social media, or I'm sorry, on Instagram. Probably more active on Facebook than I am on Instagram, just because I really enjoy seeing my clients. Also, like one of the first things I do when I take on a client, if we're not Facebook friends already, is I Facebook friend request. Like I love seeing it. I love my retirees. I love seeing them in retirement and enjoying their retirement, and me helping the wealth management side so that they can enjoy their retirement. The ones working hard pre-retirement, again, just seeing them hit their goals. And then sometimes it's really great because like maybe I'm in their account and I want to do something. I check Facebook out and I'm like, oh, they're taking their 18th honeymoon. I'm not going to call them this week. And then next week I call them and I'm like, hey, tell me about the honeymoon. How how was your 18th wedding anniversary? So I just feel like it makes, it kind of makes it more personal. Because
what
again,
you're saying is you're a stalker.
I stalk. But again, I want to make sure they're happy. I want to make sure they're successful. I want to make sure that they're, but again, it goes back to that partnership. I want them to know that, yes, me managing their money is very important, but I like seeing, like when I log into an account, I want to see what am I working for? Like, what am I doing this for? Like, who am I representing? Because it's a digital dollar, but the person is a person, and it's like, I don't know, like I want to serve that person. But anyway, so anybody can connect with me. Kyle, Kiel, and then Shaw, SHAW. Literally, I highly doubt there's a lot of me out there. So I think if you just type that in the search bar, you'll probably find me because I've never met myself before, meaning I've never ran into another Kiel for Kyle. So
yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard to find me.
Very unique. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, Kyle, for being here with us and for sharing your story and inspiring those, that might want to go ahead and start a retirement plan. Or any investments that you want to do for your future in your life. And don't let anyone ever stop you, no matter your past, no matter where you came from. You are who you want to be in life. And Kyle, we appreciate you so much, and we love you, and we are so thankful that you're a part of our life.
Yep.
Aww.
We are absolutely proud of everything that you've accomplished, even the short while that we've known you and got to watch you do it, and can't wait to see what else comes about in your life.
Yes, you have been amazing.
Oh, you two are blessings in disguise, and we can save it for another episode on the backstory how we all met.
Absolutely, we'll have to do that someday.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate it. Really, I appreciate both you all. I appreciate the friendship. I mean, every time we've been around each other, just the energy has always just been so well. And I think that, that speaks volumes for who you all are. And actually, let me actually take 2 steps backwards real quick. You all doing this podcast, I mean, that's amazing for so many people. I know we spoke before, beforehand when you reached out and said, hey, this is what we want to focus on. I thought it was great, because there's so many people that are at either they've put in a ton of effort in their business and themselves and their entrepreneurship in life, and they might feel like they're in a rut. And what I would tell you is think about this rut like if you have any off-roading experience, you're going to completely understand. You need to grab a board, put it underneath the tire, and continue to floor it, because you're going to come out of that hole and you're going to come out so quick and so successful. But you're at that point where you've got to keep pushing. And I love the fact that this podcast educates and provides, doors for people to explore, to understand that they're not alone.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love that, and I love that analogy, and I think that's a great way to wrap it up here. So, Kyle, thank you so much again, and we will definitely be having you on again in the future down the line sometime, because you were an amazing guest.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
Kyle.
Wow, what a fantastic interview that was.
Yes, I'm ready to start putting back extra money. What about you?
I am too. Seriously, I was actually really inspired by everything he was saying, and I'm wanting to talk to him more about looking at our portfolio and getting stuff done. So if you listeners also want to get stuff done with your portfolio, definitely hit up Kyle. He is an amazing man who knows exactly what he's doing, and he's had a lot of success doing it.
And until next time, this is a Creative Global Entertainment podcast. Did you get motivated? Do you feel inspired?
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses anymore, and don't forget to celebrate your successes every single day. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Follow us at Facebook and Instagram at Reimagine Success Pod. Email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and let us know what your successes are.
New episodes every Thursday at reimaginesuccesspod.com.
So let's change our mindsets and reimagine success.